You ever been lost? Sometimes when I would be driving and I'd be out and about, I want to go to a place. I want to get to a city. I'm in a location, and I know I need to get to a place, and I know it's like right over there, and I can't get there from here. I'm not sure how to make the next step, make the next move. It's a one-way street. There's a turn. There should be a turn. There isn't a road. This blocked off. There's construction. I know where I want to go, but I can't get there. We have that experience in life, and then there's that feeling, okay, so if I go over here and jog and cut back and, I'll just put it in the GPS. Oh no, the GPS isn't updated on the construction. Okay, I'll ask for directions. Okay, that person isn't from here. They don't know either. There's a series of events that can happen where we know where we want to go, and we're looking for signs to confirm we're on the right path. And when we start to find them, like, okay, we know, that's the street, yep, we're looking for a street signer. Okay, there's that building. Okay, there's that turn. Okay, now we're moving to the one lane. We look for anything we can find to give us confirmation that we're on the right path. And every step along the way is either telling us, yep, we're heading the right way, or we're not. The signs are important. So tonight, as we talk about our spiritual path, are we going the right way? We all know we want to go to heaven. We want to have eternal peace. We're looking for signs to make sure we're on the right path. It's true for a highway. It's true for a spiritual highway. It's true for a journey. It's true for a spiritual journey. Tonight, I want you to think of 4 words. 4 words that are going to work from the outer part of our lives to the very heart of who we are. And each of these words kind of talks about layers of our life. What, who, how, why. These 4 words, what, who, how, and why, are going to be measured and framed by one of my favorite things to talk about, the fruits of the Spirit. Because you see, if we say, I want to go to heaven, okay, and I want to make my life oriented around Jesus, who died and rose so we could go to heaven, then what are some good signs? Well, we call it the fruits of the Spirit because they come from heaven. The fruits of the Spirit that Paul writes in Galatians chapter 5, verses 22 and 23 are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. These come from the heart of heaven. The devil can't live in these. They come from heaven. So I will submit that whenever you see these, this is a good thing. And whenever you see their opposites or they're absent altogether, danger signs should start going off. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Now these fruits of the Spirit, which come from heaven, signs that the Spirit is present, signs that we are on the right track, I will submit now we need to talk about them in these 4 different zones of life. And I'm going to work from the outside in, from the most obvious and kind of the easiest to look at to the hardest. First, what? What am I doing with the stuff I have? What am I doing with the things in my life? What am I doing with the material goods that I have? I need to make a disclaimer up front. Material things, stuff, they're fine. They're neutral. You can do good stuff with them or bad stuff with them. Stuff is just stuff. What am I doing with the stuff? What am I doing with these things? And we can look at this in a bunch of different ways. We can look at that, though, first and foremost, in this simplest way. Who's in charge of the stuff? Am I directing things in my life, or do things direct me? Do I have so many things that they overwhelm me? Do I worry so much about the things that I'm missing out on people? Or do I use the things that have been entrusted to my care wisely and well? We've been given all these things. They're a blessing. How are we using them? What are we doing with them? And what are we doing with these items for good? I can take any object. I can take a book. I can take a church book. And I can say, you know what? I'm going to use this to give praise and thanks to God. That's beautiful. But I can take the same book and I can say, no, you know what? It's my book. That I worry so much about the book, I don't even think about opening it or reading it or praying it. It's my book. That we can get so preoccupied about the thing, we miss the purpose for which the thing was intended. Things are meant to be used, but they're meant to be used to do what? To further love and joy and peace. We're meant to use these things. And so the question that we start with on the outer rim of our hearts and lives are the things that I have, the things that have been entrusted to me, the things that are part of my life. What am I doing with them? Let's look at this in a couple of basic ways. Are there things that I have that I haven't touched in more than 2 years? Clothes, items, objects, kitchen gadgets. I love my kitchen gadgets. I go to kitchen stores and I go, ooh, that's a good one, and ooh, that's a good, oh. And I get this wonderful, gizmo. It does everything except deep fry the fries. It's just like, oh, this thing is perfect for ravioli. Oh, with this thing, I can baste the turkey without touching the turkey. Oh, and some of them are like right out of those TV commercials and infomercials. For just $9.95, you can have, but wait, there's more. Because you watch them. But note this. Maybe it is the slickest thing since sliced bread. Maybe it is. Do I use it? Do I use it? Because if I use it, that's great. That's what stuff is for. It's meant to be used. But if it's sitting in the cupboard and hasn't been touched since the day I brought it home, then what am I doing with it? And note this. There is such a thing as we can have a bad purchase. Like we thought we were going to use this and we didn't. We're all allowed to make mistakes. What's the pattern? Because if I have a house full of bad purchases, what is that telling me about me and stuff? If I have cupboards full of things that I bought once and have never used, what is that telling me about stuff? And if the stuff starts to rule my life, what is that telling me about the stuff? I gotta make this clear. The things that have been entrusted to us, we can do tremendously good things with. Are we doing good things with them? Because if the things that we have are being used, if the things that we've been given are being shared, if the things that we have, we're doing stuff with, and it's bringing love and joy and peace. Oh, good Lord. One of my most prized possessions, is one of my grandmother's ravioli trays. Oh, I'm never parting with this. Now, Lord knows I don't make nearly as many ravioli as Grandma did. But you realize that when I make ravioli, is there love? Yeah. Joy? Yeah. Peace? I swear Grandma is coming from heaven and she's touching the ravioli that touched that tray. This is where something actually becomes a form of prayer. Now that's kind of cool. Friends, I would take this very simply but very directly. Walk through your house. Are the things in our home being used? Walk through your garage. Okay, maybe some of you shouldn't walk through your garage. Stop now. Hold on. Walk through your closet. Don't groan. Just walk through it. Through your basement. Stuff is neutral. But if the stuff in my life is a chain wrapped around my leg, what am I doing? Is it helping me be more loving, kind, patient, good? Is it in any way helping other people in my life become loving and kind and good? If it is, great. Keep using the stuff. If it isn't, and again, I kind of like the 2-year rule because I know some people who, like last year, they wanted to go outside and do a winter sport like cross-country ski, except that they froze to death trying, and so they just never went out. Or, sometimes the seasons are against us. And sometimes, there's an accident or somebody's sick and, we don't use something because we missed the season or we missed the time of year. I get that. But if we're going on past 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, really? What are we doing with the stuff? What, that outer level, is an easy way because very quickly you can see it, you can look at it, you can touch it. Is it doing good or isn't it? Is it helping any one of us or the people in our life be more kind, more loving, more good, patient, joyful? If it is, then it's being blessed by heaven. If not, if not. Okay, that's the first one. Outer ring. Let's go one ring in. Who are the people in my life? Now, just to bring this home, let me give you an example. Picture like a large dining table. At least one of those longer ones. Think like a banquet, at least the size of like a banquet table down in the church hall. Big enough so that, really like 8 people can fit around it comfortably. 3 on the sides, on each side, and then 1 at the ends. Now, I want you to think for a moment. Who are the most important people in your life? The people you really lean on, trust, talk to, count on. Put them at the table. See them sitting at the table. Picture who'd be on your left, who'd be on your right, who'd be down at the end. Who are some of the key people? This isn't meant to be exhaustive, but I want you to put people at that table. Put important people at the table. Put the people that, by golly, you're a better person because these people are at the table. Put them at the table right now. Then, do we listen to them? Do we spend time with them? Do we talk to them? Do we invest time with the people that we put at the table? Let me push that further. Do we have long conversations with them? Do we tell them we love them? Do we thank them for the gift they are to us? Let me push this even further. Are there other people that really should be at that table? Let's make the table longer now. Are there people in our lives, important people in our lives, that we've neglected? Are there people in our lives that, frankly, it would really help us if we said, you know what, let me get the chair for you. I want you to sit at my table. Come on. Pull up a chair and sit with me. I love you. And maybe there's some people that we know ought to be at the table and they haven't been invited yet. Because maybe something's been said. Maybe something has transpired. Maybe something is keeping love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control from getting some people to the table. Is there an obstacle that is keeping a good person from that table? Is there something or someone in me or in another that's keeping somebody from that table? Because if we're keeping good people who would help us get closer to heaven from our table, we're missing out, aren't we? Who are the people that by rights are in my life, and how am I reaching out to them, loving them, welcoming them? How do I take the good people in my life? Now, this gets a little more personal, and so I'm just going to put the questions out there, and I'll leave it to you to sift. Am I having a hard time putting people at the table? Or are there people who I've kicked out of the table? Or are there people in my life that aren't there anymore? Are there people in my life that I've either pushed away or shunned avoided? Are there people that maybe I've done something, or maybe they've done something that's keeping them from being in my life? Are there people in my life who I should be loving and joyful and peaceful with? Again, this is very personal. And now there's a pattern, and here's how this looks, because patterns are big. Are there a whole group of people who sit at that table, but then there's a few people who I never let in to my life? In other words, am I kind and loving and good to a whole group of people and then not kind and loving to others? We're looking for patterns. Are there certain people who push my button? And you know who they are because we've all got them. There are people who get under our skin. There are people who, for whatever reason, have found that spot, and they can just go like push, 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 and you can just feel the pressure go right up. It ain't too loving. It ain't too joyful. Okay, brothers and sisters, that's a sign. It's a sign of a couple of things. If it's something in me, if there's somebody who's pushing my buttons, okay, first we always got to say, is there something in me going on? Do I need to make peace? Do I need to, in any way, shape, or form, say, I'm sorry, I forgive you? Do I need to do something? But then here's the other side to it. If there's malice, if there's somebody who's trying to do something destructive, if there's somebody who's trying to do something that's not loving or joyful or peaceful, if there's some person who's purposely doing something that is not of the Spirit, then we have to make a call. If I can change, if I can help, if I can intercede, great. If I can't, do I allow somebody else's malice and destruction to start to warp the way I live? I'm not saying we avoid people. I'm saying we recognize that there are certain things that are in our control and outside of our control. If it's in our control, if we have a chance to make a difference in the lives of real people, then we make a difference. Why? For love and joy and peace and patience and kindness and goodness. But if not, if I can't make a change, if there's no way I can make a difference, do I really want to keep getting this destruction? Do I want to keep allowing this unhealthy quality to keep pounding up against my soul? Because in the end, the only things that are allowed in heaven are love and joy and peace. And you know, the thing is, and this is why going to confession is so important, this is why forgiveness is so important. If there's anything between us in this life, this is a good time to get that sorted out, because when we stand before the gates of heaven, and the great big gates are there, and St. Peter comes right out in front and says, welcome, good to see you, glad you're here. We got your room ready for you. Have you said I'm sorry yet to so-and-so? And you go, yeah, I kind of missed that one. Okay, not a problem. They'll be arriving here in like 2 years, 3 months, and 4 days. And when they come, we've got a little hotel. It's like our equivalent of, Super 8. It's right over here. You stay right over there. You got a bed. It's clean. Don't worry. Okay. When they arrive, you can queue up in the line, make your peace, go in. We got to be reconciled. You want proof? Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Say it with me. And forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, deliver us from evil. Buried in the heart of the Lord's Prayer is the non-negotiable. Sooner or later, we got to forgive. I would recommend the sooner. It gives more peace, love, and joy, fosters patience and goodness and kindness. I am not going to say it's easy. I am not going to say that. But then this is a mission. And on a mission, you talk about the hard stuff. Who are the people in my life? Who are the people who should be in my life? Who are the people that I need to forgive in my life? They are all signs of the fruits of the Spirit. And wherever I see any person in my life, wherever I see any soul, do I see the fruits of the Spirit? And am I doing my part to bring that love and joy to this person and that person? If I'm doing that, then praise God. And if they're doing that and I'm seeing that, thank God. But if that's not happening, then it's at that moment that we have to say, okay, what part can I do, Lord, to get the obstacles out of the way so that your grace can come, that your Spirit can come. What we do with stuff, hugely important. Who are the people in our lives? Absolutely critical and crucial. We get to the third word. How? How am I behaving? How am I in my thoughts, words, and actions? No, not what do I say, how do I say it? Not what do I do, how do I do it? Not what am I thinking, how am I thinking? I'll give you an example. Did you take out the trash? That's the question that my mother would ask me every week, approximately 2 hours before the truck would come. Andrew, did you take out the trash? That is a statement of the interrogative nature. It is a question seeking a response, yes or no. Andrew, did you take out the trash? And she's kind of expecting, yes, Mom. Now, if the trash has not been taken out, and Mother knows this, the tone in Mom's voice might be slightly different. Andrew, did you take out the trash? No, Mom. Meaning, I'm going to be moving right now to get that out because now it's not 2 hours before the truck, it's 2 minutes before the truck. And if, by the way, Andrew has not taken out the trash, if Andrew has been stomping down on the trash long before trash compactors were around, I had invented that with my foot, and crushing it down and crushing it, and it's starting to stink and stench and smell. And if the truck is gone, the stench is there, the mess is there, and Mother says, as the temples are bulging and the eyes are shooting out daggers, Andrew Patrick, did you take out the trash? Okay, we know I haven't, right? Yeah, we know I'm dead now, right? Yeah. No, Mom. Let me get it out and I'll make sure it's out next week. Yes, and I know I'm grounded until the trash goes out, yes. How we communicate. How? See, if I do an act of kindness, but I do it in a manner that I'm expecting something back in return, like I'm helping you, but I'm really helping you. How am I helping you? Because I want something back. Am I really helping? Or if I speak in a certain manner, like, well, all I said was, oh, but the sarcasm was dripping as I said it. If I was pursuing, some activity with somebody, but I was doing it with a false intent. See, how we do things matters. Because how we act and how we think and how we live and how we speak say a lot about what's going on in our lives. I share this with you because it's one thing to say, I want to help. But if my helping, if I'm involved in some activity and I get real pushy, if I get real territorial, if I start to take something over and really it's mine, I'm doing this good work for Jesus, thank you. You ever seen that? Or in the neighborhood, or in the home, or at work. How we do for the Lord matters. How we treat people matters. And how we use the stuff, it all matters. The how here is the way in which I do something. It's really hard to express this in any other way to say, sometimes we can do a good work, but because we do it with such a bad attitude or in such a difficult way, we've neutralized the good work. If I do an act of kindness for someone, but I do it with a bad attitude, what have I done? My God, what have I done? And if I give money to the poor, but I make the poor feel pretty bad while I'm doing it, what have I done? Or if I'm distributing the body of Christ or the blood of Christ, and I'm doing it with an uncharitable thought in my heart towards the person I'm about to give Holy Communion to, my God, what have I done? How we think and speak and act has enormous significance, enormous ramifications. The inner ring. Why? Why do I do what I do? Why do I say what I say? Why do I think what I think? Why do I act the way I act? This is the most personal. Because I can look at the stuff, and I can see the people, and I can analyze the behavior. But why is buried in my heart? Why? Why did I decide to become a priest? Why did somebody decide to get married? Why did somebody decide to have a family? Why did somebody take that job? Why did somebody join a church? Why in this culture today is somebody going to continue to say, I follow Jesus as a Catholic? Why can matter profoundly. And why? Because why is getting at my motivation? Why is getting at my intention? Why do I do what I do? Am I doing it because I'm scared? Am I doing it because I want to get noticed? I want attention. Am I doing it because I want to be popular? Am I doing it because I like it when my ego looks good? Am I doing it because I'm worried or afraid or angry? Fear and anger are tough ones. Whenever we look, because this is the only person who can evaluate this is each one of us. Why did I come here tonight? Why will I go out into the world tomorrow? Why will I tell somebody I love them? And why won't I tell somebody I love them? Why is personal? But why cuts through a lot of things in a hurry. Because the minute we are honest with ourselves and the minute that we say, ooh, that's why. Ooh. We have a breakthrough. Because you see, Jesus knows that. Isn't that the amazing thing? The Lord already knows. Are we trying to kid the Lord? Are we trying to put one over on Jesus? Jesus knows. He knows us better than we know ourselves. Sometimes what has to happen is we need to smack upside the head to go, oh, Lord, I did that, didn't I? Oh, Lord, I did that because of my ego. I did that because I'm afraid. I did that because I just wanted to look good. Ouch. And yet Jesus doesn't abandon us. Jesus doesn't run away. Jesus doesn't say, I told you so. Jesus says, thank goodness you finally got it, Andrew. Now, Andy, now that you got it, now that you understand that, come on, let's go back to where there's love and joy and peace. Because if you want a really good reason why to do something, why is because I want love to be here. I want joy to be here. I want peace to be in my heart or in the hearts of others. Why do I want patience or kindness or goodness? Why? Because, Lord, I want you here in whatever the situation is. That's a good reason. In fact, that's one of the best reasons. Why? Because, Lord, I want you in my life and in every part of my life. Because, Lord, if I'm going to go on a spiritual journey that leads to you, then I want what I do, who I do it with, how I do it, and the reason why to all line up and be in complete harmony with you. So that when I do show up at the gate, I'm ready. I'm prepared. It's all together. It all makes sense. What is the stuff in our lives? And brothers and sisters, are we in charge of it or is it in charge of us? Who are the people in my life? And do I need to make some things that are wrong right? Do I need to take some good things and make them great with people? Third, how am I living? How am I speaking? How am I acting? Is it godly, holy, Spirit-filled? And Lord, why do I do what I do? Is it because of you, or is it because of me? Now, these things are all signs. And brothers and sisters, we are all works in progress. None of this is easy, but it's all fruitful. And like anybody who has had that challenge of being lost, what matters is that you get there in the end, that you get to the destination, that you arrive. That's what matters. Okay, so maybe we take a rather long path, and maybe we took a detour we didn't expect, and maybe things got a little complicated. The question is, do we find our way back? Do we get to where the destination says, this is where I want to be? That's really the goal. And the beautiful thing is the Lord is patient, and the Lord is very understanding. And the Lord will continue to put out more signs saying, yep, love right here. Oh, no, there's peace over here. Oh, no, this is not joyful. Stay away, go, and steer us. The Lord's going to keep putting the signs. The signs from heaven are really simple. And that's why I love the fruits of the Spirit. They're really clear. I mean, there's no ambiguity. You know when you're in the presence of joy. You know when it's peaceful. You know when it's not. You know when you're around kindness. You know when you're in the presence of faithfulness. And Lord knows there's no other place I want to be than in the heart of love. Those are the signs that God gives to make sure that we know clearly we are on the right path. So tonight, to wrap this part of the mission up, these 4 questions are really worthy of personal reflection. This is a very personal part of the journey. What are the things in my life, and am I using them well? Second, who are the people in my life, and do I have work to do there to make those relationships better? 3, how am I thinking and speaking and acting? And Lord, if it's not godly, help me to be more like you. And finally, Lord, help me to be honest with myself, to ask the question and answer it, why do I do what I do? And Lord, help me to face the answers honestly so that you can help me with your grace, your kindness, and your love. God help us. God bless us all.